Hi everybody, almost Shabbat Shalom, was just Chodesh Tov, we're beginning of Tammuz. I'd like to share some thoughts about what it means to be wise, and in particular, in this case, Chochmat Nashim, the wisdom of women or of a woman. There's a very famous question about this week's parasha, Korach, about why On ben Pelet, who seemed to be Korach's right-hand man and was with him in his dispute against Moshe and Aharon, why he is mentioned at the beginning, but then not mentioned when the earth swallows up Korach and his followers. And there's a very famous answer to that. That answer is found in Masechet Sanhedrin in the Gemara. The answer of the Gemara is that it was On's wife who saved him, which is kind of cool, although they also say that Korach's wife is the one who drew him on the poor path. But let's focus for a moment on what On's wife did. Rav says, On, son of Pelet, did not repent on his own, rather his wife saved him. She said to him, what's the difference to you? If Moshe wins, you're not number one. If Korach wins, you're not number one. What's the point? And then he said, well, then what should I do? I took an oath. And so she continues and she says, well, it's okay that you took an oath with Korach because everybody is holy. So it is okay that you'll be able to dissent from him. And then she found a way around it. She found a way to circumvent his oath to Korach. She said, I will save you. She gave him wine to drink and caused him to be drunk and laid him on a bed inside their tent. She sat at the entrance of the tent and exposed her hair as though she were bathing, so anyone who came near her stepped back. And in the meantime, the assembly of Korach was swallowed into the ground, and On, son of Pelet, was saved. And that is what we call Chochmat Nashim, what the Gemara calls. But here's another answer to that, another explanation for what Chochmat Nashim is, and I want to expand this beyond the idea of a woman specifically having wisdom. I think she did have wisdom, but her wisdom was knowing her husband, On, and knowing that when he was drawn to a certain direction, perhaps feeling incensed, perhaps believing what Korach said, that Moshe and Aharon elevated themselves over the rest of the nation, even if it wasn't true. But we often know that somebody can incite us to feel a certain way. Somebody shows us one direction. We say, yes, yes, and that makes us upset, that makes us angry. Sometimes when we hear another direction or somebody finds a way to reach us, then we know we can climb back down from the tree we climbed up on. But the chokhmah here, and this is something I learned from Rav Chaim Shmuelevich, Zichrono Bracha, was that she knew how to appease her husband, how to reach him, how to speak to him, how to speak in a way that he could hear her, because when we're upset, when we're angry, when we feel we're on some path that feels like the righteous one, it's so hard for us to hear somebody else's words. So what I give credit to On's wife was not only that she knew what was right, not only that she followed her own inner compass, not only that she followed, even though her husband thought differently, and even though Korach's wife, for all I know they were friends, Korach's wife, according to the interpretation, drew Korach in a certain direction. But she knew how to reach her husband, how to appeal to him. And that is something that we can learn if we follow this midrash and we understand that perhaps On did not actually come to the final confrontation with Moshe and therefore was not swallowed up. And if we learn from this, maybe it was his wife, but what we can learn even more from that is that when we know something is right and we want to dissuade someone who we feel we have even the smallest chance of showing them something that will truly be better for them, or perhaps we see a negative outcome, whether it's our spouses, our family, our children, even friends, sometimes we don't know and sometimes we don't step forward. But if we do, let's take a moment and think about the right way to reach that person. So this is about unraveling dissent, about reaching the other person, about coming from the right direction, about really making that connection so that person can hear us. Wishing us a Shabbat. This is really a Chodesh, a month of descent, because it is the month of Tammuz, when the 3 weeks will begin, when we remember the calamities that happened to the nation of Israel, more than the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, even more calamities. And this is the perfect month when we should think about how we can approach people even when they're in a space like that and reach them and help guide them back to the right path. Wishing all Shabbat Shalom.